Hey YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to the second video in a series where I start my own software business and scale it from $0 to $1 billion unicorn tech startup. At least that's the plan. This week I want to talk about Supabase's RLS policy and why I think it is set up poorly and hopefully prevent you from wasting a lot of your time like I did mine. RLS stands for row level security. And to explain this concept a little bit better, let's imagine we have an application where users can tweet. In order for them to be able to tweet, they need to have an account, and we probably store that information related to their account in a users table in our database. If you're not familiar with what a database is, it's basically a collection of tables where each table is a specific type of data. So in our users table, we probably have information related to the user, such as their username, their account creation date, and maybe an email associated with their account. So when a user tries to access their own information, the front end of our application will send a request to our database, and it should specifically ask for only the information related to this user. Now, it's possible for any user of our application to modify that request and say that they want information for all users, and that would be bad. We shouldn't be sending any individual user of our application other people's personal information. So we can prevent this by writing a rule for our database, and that's what row level security is. This takes place on the back end, and it makes sure that any given user doesn't have access to information that they shouldn't. So now that we agree that row level security is pretty important, how do we make sure that it's set up correctly for our database? Well, if you're using Supabase, they make that process pretty simple. They provide you with a dashboard and some template policies that you can use to get started. For my application, I wanted a user to be able to press a button and start a Pomodoro timer. And when they did that, we should record that time and insert it into the Pomodoro's table of our database. So I needed a policy that allowed an authenticated user to insert into that table. Earlier in the video, I mentioned RLS at Supabase can be a little frustrating, and this is where I started to run into issues. I was using their template policy, so I knew that the syntax was correct. But I noticed that even after enabling this policy, I, as an authenticated user, wasn't able to insert into that table. And I spent hours trying to research why that is. And you won't find this anywhere in the docs. But if you're using Supabase's JavaScript library, after they send a request to insert or update information in a table, Supabase will select that information and return it back to you. So if you don't have a policy that allows a user to select information from the table, the insert and update calls will never work properly. Now, this took me a long time to figure out, and I couldn't find the information anywhere in their docs. Hopefully this video has saved you a lot of time, and you've learned a little bit about row level security if you didn't already know what it was. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.